Hello guys, Kama here, and today we are playing Bluish Resurrection Plus. This is my very first clear of original mode with the auto guard feature turned off, and it's been one of my biggest shmup goals ever since I started playing shmups this year. I'm also going to talk a little bit about why this is a very well recommended game for anyone who wants to get into bullet hell. First of all, this game is free. It's created by indie developer XX Game Room, and I have posted links below in the description so that you can try this game out. This game is heavily inspired by Cave's bullet hell games like Dodonpachi, so it has your normal shot, your focus shot where your ship is slower, and also the bombs. But one thing that makes this really good for beginners is the auto guard, a feature that you can either turn on or off in the options menu. When auto guard is turned on, if you get hit, you will use a bomb instead of losing a life, which means that your bombs pretty much count as extra lives if you choose to conserve them. This is good for helping a new player develop the confidence with learning how to dodge, because instead of just bombing at the sight of a very complex pattern, a player would instead try to find a way out of it, knowing that if they do get hit, they wouldn't lose a life unless they're out of bombs. Of course, the auto guard feature can also cause the player to develop a bad habit where they would become too stingy with using bombs and struggle to clear the game once auto guard is turned off. But I think for beginners, the auto guard's benefits outweigh the potential bad habits that you might learn. As I said earlier, this run is my first original 1cc with auto guard turned off, so it's all about survival, like my previous 1cc of Mushihimesama 1.5. I'm currently using Eden's Edge, the 4th ship in the game. The ship's options follow you around and cover a huge part of the game screen, and it deals some nice damage, so for me it's the best ship to use for survival. Blue Hope is also good because of its high damage, but the shot isn't as wide, so you need to have a better idea of your routing. So we're coming up to the end of stage 1. I have already spent one bomb because I found myself at an awkward spot earlier just before the boss fight. Just get close to where the score chips are going to show up, since those decrease in value the longer they stay on the screen. And there we have it, a simple clear of stage 1. Now, eventually you will find that playing with auto guard turned on will make the game too easy, so the next step is to turn it off like I did for this run. It makes the game more challenging even with the slowdown the game provides in the later stages. But I have to be honest that the slowdowns can sometimes feel cheap once you're improving at the game, so there is an option called wait that you can turn off as well. This gets rid of the slowdown and it makes the game harder. The earlier version of the game, simply called Bluish Resurrection, has no slowdown at all, so I think that game is harder. Plus here in Bluish Resurrection Plus, you get score extends every 5 million points. In Bluish Resurrection, you only get score extends at 4 million points and 10 million points. So that game gives you less resources, which can really make the difference when you are playing in Hell mode and trying to face the true last boss. There is also another feature in this game called Accel. What it does is it speeds the bullets up the longer they are on the screen. In Bluish Resurrection, it is a secret game mode on the difficulty selection screen, but here in Resurrection Plus, it can be found in the options menu that you can turn on or off. Despite the simple appearance of the game, it has something to offer to every kind of player. I enjoy playing this game so much that I wouldn't be surprised if I have more hours on this than Crimson Clover or the other cave games that I have in my shmup library. There is also Bluish Desire, which is a new game released in 2021, which is about 10 minutes longer. It is harder than this game as well, but it has some very good patterns and level design. The demo is also available in the link I posted below, and you can buy the whole game at Steam. Okay, so here we have the stage 2 boss. First two patterns, I'm too lazy to dodge, so I'm going to bomb through both of those. Now the boss is wide enough and I can still hit it without needing to stay in the middle, so I am okay with moving towards one side until the pattern ends. And the next pattern will not be a problem anymore because we are close to the final phase. This one is all about simple tap dodging to one side. Now you can see that the boss isn't as wide as before, and I made the mistake of not staying in the middle, so I just decided to bomb and finish the fight instead of taking any more risks. Again, stay close to the explosion to get the most value out of the score chips. And as we reach 5 million points, we get a score extend. After we get that score extend, we will be getting a secret extend on the third stage. As far as I know, you have to reveal a certain number of treasure boxes in order to reveal the extend. I do not exactly know if I have to reveal specific treasure boxes, so what I do is just play aggressively to unlock every treasure box that I know of. Most of these treasure boxes show up after destroying enemy turrets. It was only recently that I bothered about getting this secret extend because it was not that necessary when I used to play with auto guard turned on. But for this mode that I'm playing, everything counts. I think one of the most important skills to develop for this stage is learning to move your ship at full speed in order to utilize the options well and also for dodging, because it can be very easy to get yourself trapped in between the spreads and aimed bullets from the enemies. It's also important to know when to stick to your focus shot because some of the turrets in this stage will give a big bullet cancel. Using the focus shot to destroy those turrets fast will make it way easier to finish off the weaker enemies. So that was a bad dodge on my part, but it's okay since we have no extra bombs left and so we're getting a refill. At my current skill level, I think it's a good trade-off to bomb aggressively in order to reveal the treasure boxes and get the secret extend, which means more resources to spare for the rest of the run. Here's a bomb for safety. I always like to bomb a lot after I've just died in order to allow myself to calm down a bit and get back to a more neutral mindset. When you're done, just keep shooting at the middle part of the screen to reveal the secret extend. If I can get past this boss without getting hit, then I would start stage 4 with 4 extra lives because we're getting another extend at 10 million points. And that was a bad hit. I really hated it when that happened because I normally like to bomb that first pattern, but I got greedy in this run. And losing those 2 unused bombs was a very big thing as well. This pattern is simply about avoiding the sides, but the sudden loss of slowdown might hit you by surprise. Now for this pattern, I'm comfortable with dodging because there's a lot of empty spaces to move to. This next one is also something I find to be manageable, but I will just bomb again to force the final phase of the boss fight. This final pattern is way easier for me just because of the massive slowdown you get, and all you need to do is stay in the middle while crossing the gaps in between the round bullets. But if you have the slowdown turned off, this pattern can be very challenging to dodge. So far, I have gained 2 extends and have lost both extends in the third stage. But I'm getting another score extend via the 10 million points. Again, the resources the game gives you makes it really accessible for beginners. But if you're playing the older version Bluish Resurrection, this is the last score extend you'll get for the rest of the game. I think stage 4 is challenging in the sense that it will test your ability on micro dodging and macro dodging. A lot of enemies will be shooting spreads that are small at the beginning and spread out the longer they are on screen. Not to mention that there are some spinning turrets that will be shooting bullets all over the place. The good news here is that there's a good number of big enemy ships that will provide big bullet cancels to stop you from getting walled. For example, there's a very big one coming up soon. And if you're using Eden's Edge or Blue Hope, it shouldn't take long to destroy the enemy. Remember that there are hidden treasure boxes after you destroy enemy turrets. Just shoot at the spot to reveal them and get those points. If you are playing for score, it's very important to reveal them as early as you can because they will keep giving you points as long as they're on the screen. But for this survival run, they're not that too high on my priorities. We are coming up to the mid-boss and the first two patterns should be easy enough. And that was a very close call. Now I have no bombs left, so it's all dodging at this point. One of the things I find fun about being aggressive with bombs is that it can be very exciting to see how far you can go once you have run out of bombs. The last pattern is all about crossing over the lanes of bullets when you see the round bullets heading your way. The slowdown here makes it easy. So like any other shmup, the best way to get good at it is to just keep playing so that you will learn the proper routing. As you can see, I am prioritizing the big enemy for the bullet cancel instead of unlocking the hidden treasure boxes where the turrets used to be. In this section, there will be a few groups of Zako flying around and shooting at you, so don't move around too much and focus your shot on the big enemy for the bullet cancel. I will definitely miss the slowdown feature of this game once I decide to turn it off in order to get better. We've got a bomb, and if things get tight in this section, it wouldn't be much of a waste to use it. But with the big enemies providing bullet cancels, it's better to just keep the bomb for the boss fight. And from here, it's just a little bit of tap dodging for the Zako rush, and then it is time to face the stage 4 boss. We haven't been hit so far in this stage, so things are looking good. I'm going to use a bomb on this first pattern, but I think it shouldn't be that complex to learn. I just felt lazy at this point, I suppose. Now I have no bombs, so I have to rely on dodging this second pattern which looks more complex, but the slowdown helps in a big way. Find the gaps between the streams of bullets and go to the next big free space in the middle. Now this pattern is where I'm going to get hit. There wasn't too much slowdown here, and if I did not use the bomb on the first pattern, this would have been a great time to use it. One more bomb for safety and to force the final phase of the boss fight. Like the stage 4 mid-boss, the theory here is to cross over in between the lanes while dodging the round bullets. Again, simple enough with the slowdown. But for safety reasons, I stayed on the left side instead of crossing over. If I had taken the middle lane, I would have an easier time damaging the boss with the entire width of my shot. And there we have it. We are onto the final stage, and the end of stage bonus will also give us our score extend for 15 million points. And there is also a huge possibility that we are going to get another score extend on stage 5 with 20 million points. This is looking good survival wise. Now stage 5 will feature a lot of Zako shooting aimed bullets at you, some medium-sized enemies that will shoot spreads, and then the occasional big enemy that gives bullet cancels. On a different note, besides being a very accessible game for beginners and challenging enough for veterans, I also love the music on this game. I don't consider myself a big fan of electronic music that I know who the popular artists are, but I enjoy listening to them a lot. And XX Game Room, the developer for this game, uses music tracks created by Cyber Rainforce, who provides free electronic music on their website. I will be posting a link to that website in the video description below. Dying right before the mid-boss is not a good idea for me, so I will try to cheese the mid-boss and get it out of the way as soon as possible. Remember that if you are playing for survival, cheesing with bombs is okay. if you want to learn how to dodge everything, you can always use the practice mode that this game offers. This is the same mindset that I took when I did my Mushihimesama 1.5 original 1cc, and it turns out that I also do not like the patterns from this mid-boss, so that's all the more reason to bomb it. As of this point, we are about 15 minutes into the run, so it's not a very long game. I like that a lot because I'm the type of player who prefers replaying from the start instead of practicing a stage or boss on repeat. These flying enemies fire a very nasty spread, and what I do is macro dodge them and cut back at the outermost area where there are less bullets. And that was a very tight spot that I managed to get out of, but enemies are not going to let up until the end. I guess by this time all these spreads are stressing me out a bit, so I decided to use my last bomb. There's still a few more of these flying enemies, and because I have no bombs left, all I can do is just dodge and see how far I can go. I got myself out of that tight spot, and now here's a big bullet cancel incoming. I'm going to inch my way into the middle so I can kill it faster. Now here is the last big wave of enemies, and I'm going to get hit here because I have no more bombs left. In retrospect, there is a tiny gap that I could have used, but I obviously missed that during my actual gameplay. This one should be simple, but I've decided to just bomb it because I know I'm at the end of the stage. Now the game will give us some power-ups and an extra bomb. With 3 bombs and an extra life, I thought I was in good shape to cheese the boss for the clear. It was a bit of a tense moment for me that I did not notice that I am very close to getting another score extend at 20 million points. I can manage the first phase easily at this point that I do not need to use a bomb. Second pattern, just stay in the middle. Your hitbox is small enough to make it through. The third pattern can be cancelled quick enough to prevent it from becoming a risk. The first pattern of the second phase, I just bomb it. It's easy in heaven, but it's obviously thicker in original mode. Now the next pattern should be easy because of the slowdown, and all I need to do is move to whatever free space there is. However, I am going to get hit as the pattern ends, the slowdown ends, and the bullets return to their normal speed. I will not be able to make use of the 2 bombs I have left. And by this time, I was still not aware that I have already acquired the score extend for 20 million points, so it felt like an intense fight for me even if I had just gotten an extra life. What I'm going to do for this final phase is play it safe and use 2 bombs to finish the fight. This final pattern shouldn't be that hard, but there are some times where a sneaky bullet would hide behind other bullets to hit you by surprise. During my first time clearing original mode with auto guard turned on, I got hit by a sneaky bullet on my last life with my last bomb just as the boss fight was about to end, so I never underestimate this pattern. And once it was over, that was when I realized that I got the score extend, which will now count towards the end game bonus. This brings my score to 25 million points, which is 5 million points lower than my personal best, which I had acquired with auto guard turned on. There is my first 1cc of Bluish Resurrection Plus original mode with auto guard turned off. As far as this game is concerned, my next goal would possibly be to get 1cc's of original mode with auto guard turned off using the other ships. Either that or clear the same mode with slowdown turned off. If you like this kind of content, please feel free to follow my channel and let me know what you think in the comment section. This has been Kama, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.